To Steph Curry with the shot, a sight to behold. As Stephen A described, Curry putting his team on his back yet again, putting on an epic show to secure home court in front of a hostile Boston crowd, putting up 43 points, 10 rebounds, and evening the series as the Dubs head back to the Bay for Game 5 tonight on ABC. His partner in crime reflecting on his greatness. Here's Clay.
It takes a lot of mental fortitude to stay hungry and want more and more after so much success, and Steph is the embodiment of that. The man is never satisfied. He just continues to mesmerize the world with his talent.
Steph Curry is really good, and if you guys haven't noticed. Yeah, he can shoot the ball unbelievably. You know, even watching it, playing against it, and even in the finals, I feel like he's taking it up a notch a little bit. He had a hell of a performance in Game 4, and we got to respond to that. We got to do even more of a better job, and we got to be even more focused on the details because obviously, you know, Steph Curry is a hell of a player.
Sure is a hell of a player. All right, Stephen A. Smith, what do you think? Can the Celtics slow down Steph Curry?
Well, at this particular point, I don't think anybody can the way that he's looking right now. Ladies and gentlemen, he's averaging 34 on 50% shooting from the field and 49% shooting from three-point range. That's just an absolutely spectacular performance. And then when you take into account the relatively pedestrian and in some cases anemic performances by others, he's carrying this Golden State Warriors team. Let's take a moment to give Andrew Wiggins some love with the defensive wizardry that he's been putting forth, not to mention the fact that he's been rebounding the ball incredibly effectively. Let's take a moment to give Klay Thompson some props because in the fourth quarter, he scored 8 points, 8 big points. As far as I'm concerned, reminding everybody of who he can be, particularly in big-time moments. So let's give him some love. But in the end, Steph Curry has stood out above the crowd. He is clearly the best player on the court in this series thus far. He's been absolutely sensational. We all know that he'll walk away with NBA Finals MVP in the event that they win this series. And obviously right now it looks like a tall task for the Boston Celtics to slow him down. Is it possible? Sure, because we know that this is an elite defense. I have a hell of a lot of respect for Udoka, the head coach for the Boston Celtics. I think that he'll figure out something to at least slow him down to a touch. I mean, my goodness, you got to figure out something, and you got to get to a point where you're daring somebody else to beat you. Of course, it's going to help with if Jason Tatum steps up with his shooting from two-point range, because from three-point range, he shoots 45% from the field. Jaylen Brown, let's throw him into the mix. There's a few things that they could do, but in the end, the reason why I feel like we really need to take a moment to just pay homage to Steph Curry and the greatness that he's putting on display. So many of those shots were contested. So many were big-time shots. But even the times where they weren't necessarily that contested, it's because Steph Curry is figuring out ways to get himself open enough, to get enough space to get his shot off. He's just a basketball savant. He knows what the hell he's doing out on that basketball court, and he's showing that not just physically in terms of his shooting prowess, JJ, but mentally, in terms of his intellect, the cerebral approach to the game. It's head and shoulders above the guys that he's going against at this particular moment in time, at least definitely in the few games, in a couple of games that they won, and even in one of the games they lost. I just think that right now he's standing out above the crowd. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's a very, very tall task to assume that he's going to be slowed down with the run that he's on. And now it's a best two or three with two of those games in Golden State. It's a tall task.
Yeah, you know, I think the question is a good question because I do think there's things you can do to slow him down. You're not going to stop Steph Curry completely, and that's just the diversity of his game doesn't get appreciated enough. And let's talk about isolation. You know, he's led the entire playoffs for any player, points per possession in isolation. He was 96th percentile in the regular season across the NBA in isolation scoring. He can do everything on the court. But I want to make this point. If you were to build a game plan to stop or limit Steph Curry, you would basically do the opposite of what Boston has done. Now, maybe Ime Udoka and his staff feel like this is the best game plan to beat the Warriors and limit some of the other stuff that can happen in a game when you pay too much attention to Steph Curry. But let's be very clear. Their game plan is awful if your goal is to stop Steph Curry. Playing drop coverage against Steph Curry over and over and over again is asinine. They blitzed him a total of 3 times in 4 games in this series. When Steph Curry shoots against drop coverage, they're getting 1.42 points per possession. That's well above the best offense in the league. You saw these clips on the post splits. They've got the screener's man sitting back in the paint. If I was to develop a game plan, I would switch that. We're switching that at the point of the screen. We're up in pick and roll coverage. We're potentially mixing in some blitzes and some traps. Again, this game plan is not to stop Steph Curry. This is the game plan that they've developed, they've stuck with. Ime Udoka yesterday indicated they're going to continue to play this coverage against him. There's no reason to believe, as great of the individual defense as Boston has with Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum and Derek White, they're not going to stop him if they continue to play this way. They're not going to slow him down if they continue to play this way. What is the harm? What is the risk in changing the game plan? This is an obvious question to that. We saw in the Dallas series specifically, when you blitz Steph Curry, and we've seen it throughout this run the Warriors have had over the last 8 years, when you blitz Steph Curry, you open up a 4-on-3 on the backside. You're giving up layups, you're giving up back cuts, you're giving up three-pointers in the corner to Gary Payton or to Andrew Wiggins or to Klay Thompson or to Jordan Poole. You have to essentially pick your poison when you play against Steph Curry and the Warriors. And right now, they're choosing Steph Curry as the poison. That's the reality. They haven't had any change in game plan through 4 games that would indicate they're willing to let someone else try and beat them.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.